Thank the gentleman. I'll yield 5 minutes to myself. I'm going to ask you all a question. What would you do if you were sitting where we sit? What legislation, in other words, every administration can come and go. The goal here is someday be sure that at the Attorney General's office, the FBI, that we do not have to worry about this anymore, the Department of Justice. Is there any legislation, I'll start with Mr. Whitson, but I'll go all the way down to Dr. Hunt, any legislation you would suggest specifically to help, or just to help in general, if you, again, were a legislator, if you were a member of Congress?
Thank you for that question. I think to start, I would codify the president's authority to fire insubordinate or unproductive employees. And so it's the Schedule F. I would extend that to all executive branch employees. I don't think it would have the kind of effect that some on the left have claimed. I think it would just give whoever the executive is, whether that's a Democrat or Republican, the ability to remove people that are, again, unproductive or insubordinate. At the end of the day, federal workers shouldn't have more protection than private sector workers. But get this, Chairman, a private employee is 5 times more likely to get fired or laid off from work than a government employee. That shouldn't be that big of a disparity. And so that's the problem with the way our government is set up, is there's no market forces on the federal government. And so when they fail to address a problem, what is their solution? It's the same every time. Just throw money at it, right? We weren't able to fix this problem, so let's just bring more personnel in. And so the people that were ineffective, that were unable to accomplish the mission, are then just transferred over to another department so that this unit can do the mission. And so that's wrong. In the private world, those people would have to be dismissed and go find another job. And so the president, and he can push that down for the FBI's case to Director Patel, he can delegate that power. But to give him the authority to remove those people more easily would be great.
Thank you. Mr. Stout.
Chairman, I think post 9/11, Director Mueller changed the organization, shifted it to more of an intelligence-based collection, and got away from facts and law enforcement. And we still had that, but the emphasis was on best guess. And I think that's what we need to return to, is back to fact-based investigations. I don't think that's going to take a lot of legislative work. I just think that's going to take internal policy changes, and working with DOJ. Shouldn't cost the taxpayers anything. It's just a shift in thinking.
I thank you, and I think you're correct. I don't think that's necessarily a legislative change, but just a change in direction and thought, whoever's in control. Ms. Parker.
Thank you. First of all, just real quick, I wanted to speak to Ranking Member Crockett. I have an appreciation for what you're saying between right and wrong. I myself received a message on X this morning wishing that I was inside of a Tesla that would explode, and so I understand what it feels like to receive a threat. It's entirely inappropriate and unacceptable, and I should not be the target of violence. And so I just wanted to tell you that is wrong, and that should be, someone needs to be held accountable for that.
I will say likewise.
Thank you.
That is wrong.
That is wrong.
And, you know, just to chime in for a second, unfortunately, I'm getting used to it. You know, it's a sad commentary, but I think we all are, you know, and that is one thing that I believe there could be bipartisan agreement to just cut that out. And it's our responsibility to try not to promote it, all of us in whatever position we have, and to make sure that we protect those that are in harm's way. So I thank you for that remark as well. Legislation.
So an answer legislatively, I mean, getting back to what the FBI's core mission is, and I'm not sure how you're going to legislate this, but the bottom line is there has to be transparency, there has to be accountability, and there has to be consequences. And again, it's not about what side of the political spectrum you stand on. It should be completely irrelevant. Again, when you walk into the door as an FBI agent, it shouldn't matter if you voted for this person or that person. You put your political persuasions and opinions to the side, and you do the right thing for the right reasons. And I am a very big proponent, obviously, of stopping violent crime, stopping human trafficking, and keeping all Americans safe.
Do you think there should be, for those that misuse their power in the FBI or in general, Department of Justice, Attorney, should there be enhanced penalties or penalties?
Absolutely. If you're abusing your law enforcement power to push your political and social agendas and doing the wrong thing for the wrong reasons, you must be held accountable. And again, I agree with Whitson. In the private sector, I came from a hedge fund and worked on Wall Street before this. That would not be tolerated. If you're not doing your job and you're not contributing to the mission, it is not okay to be a federal employee and just come and collect a paycheck when you're actually not contributing to the mission. And unfortunately, I saw that quite frequently at the FBI. I would say a small percentage of the agents are doing a lot of the work.
Thank you. Dr. Hunt.
I have a very concrete suggestion. I would request that Director Patel, Deputy Director Bongino, put into policy that no investigation can be opened without predication. That's currently not what policy is, and I think that should also be, as far as I can tell, legislated. Moreover, the second point I would require, or I would request, was that all FBI agents serve the Constitution, not any political agenda. But the concrete one is that assessments, investigations are based only on predication.
I thank you for that. I want to thank everybody for being here today. Like I said, time is treasure. It's a big deal. We appreciate all of you. It concludes today's hearing. Without objection, all members will have...
Oh, sorry. I have a UC.
Okay.
Sorry about